Aries Ascendant. Now for Aries, your Ascendant is actually ruled by Mars, and so is your 8th house. This Mars was debilitated, rendering the physical capacity and strength weak. When Mars crosses the Gandanta of Cancer and Leo zodiac sign, and it moves into the sign of Leo, which is basically Mars's friend Surya zodiac, Mars gains back its power. Mangal in 5th house is the position of ultimate expression, expression of your energy, expression of your talent and quality of life. This means that your talent will fetch you more income, it will give you more authority, it will give you power, it will give you better revenue, it will give you things to learn, and implementation of your learning is possible, and especially it's going to be great for students or for new entrepreneurs, people who have just started their career, because they will find right avenues to exercise their talent and show what skills they can deliver, they have, and what productivity they can bring on the table. You know, this Mars in the 5th house is a very, very positive Mars. Although Mangal in 5th house in a way is more about putting and redirecting your energy towards your expression. So you will see that you will become more physically active, your expression will become more energetic, and you will be able to deliver far more in a far more better way than you are doing right now. So definitely there is a improvement in overall lifestyle, it's an improvement in your health, it's an improvement and giving you success. But you also have to understand that Mars may have a tendency to fight the battle without being prepared fully. So this is the kind of a time when knowledge will equip you to fight the future battles, like battles in career, competition. It is also about the information that Mars brings in your life. It's a very good time for people who are into engineering field, who wants to learn engineering, who wants to pursue some technical expertise in life. Mars is also going to be good for people involved in energy sector and someone who is into telecommunication engineering or any kind of energy based engineering, design, circuit design, electronics, electrical equipments, instrumentations. You will see Mars will favor you a lot. The one place where Mars might not favor you is if you are impulsive in stock market, if you are impulsive in speculative gains, if you are impulsive in real estate, and if you are impulsive in into acting without thinking, because Mars will have an aspect on the 8th house and it is the 8th lord sitting in the 5th house. What it says is that learn before taking a risk. Mars wants to prevent risk here, so it's like a risk prevention transit for you. Mars 8th aspect will also fall on the 12th house, so it will cut down your expenses, it will give you better exposure, better learning, better planning, better strategy. So overall, it's a life developing transit, and if you can strategize your life and plan your life in a better way, it will be great for your life overall. One thing is that for people who are involved into export and import business, who are more about exporting services, or who wants to travel to a foreign country for education, or whose children are traveling to a foreign country, it might add some worry because Mars cannot exist without a war. What should you do? Start a campaign to help poor students. See if you can allow your children to help other people. You can teach them moral teaching, moral uplifting, using your energy to boost the morale of other people around you is the best way to handle this Mars transit and extract the maximum. In fact, this is a power packed transit for you, a transit that will make you learn to accept changes and changes for good. Leo Ascendant. For Leo Ascendant and Leo Moon sign, especially for Moon sign, you also have to observe that Mars entering your first house not only gives you power, but it is your 9th lord coming in your first house. Therefore, the guidance, the divinity will come your way. It is a Mars that is free from debilitation. It will boost your confidence. It will give you that necessary spirit, enthusiasm, and support by which you will be able to sail through the difficulties of life and, in fact, do something creative. Mars is a Yoga Karak planet for you. It is the lord of 9th and the 4th house. So one Kendra Bhava and one trine. So definitely Mars position with respect to its own zodiac sign also boosts this position. But remember one thing, Mars in the first house can make you expansionist, can give you a lot of masculine energy, which is good for competition, but it can hurt the personal life, the married life, considering that there is a retrograde Saturn in the 7th house. You will also see that this retrograde Saturn in the 7th will work in two ways. If you are humble and if you are polite, you will see your partner will support you a lot. But if you are aggressive, if you are intimidating, if you are frustrated, there is a high chance that initially your partner might support you, but soon this energy will deplete, maybe in just a couple of weeks. And then you will see resistance coming through circumstance, resistance coming through life partner, family, and matters related to real estate, especially if you are into real estate as a broker, as an agent, as an agency, or if you are a builder, construction, if you are into construction line. Why? Because Mars will find heavy resistance coming from retrograde Saturn from the 7th. It's a Mars and Saturn opposition. And Mars and Saturn opposition is always going to be conflicting. It's like a fire and ice focusing towards each other. Two beams of light, one red and one blue. And they are anti to each other in every aspect. So when they will meet and when they come face to face, and remember one thing, Mars in the 1st and Saturn in the 7th are strong in respect to their own, with respect to their own position. And for Leo, Saturn is the prarabdha. So this Mars has to focus on the prarabdha. That means your duties and responsibilities, especially to your home. So on one side is career, on one side is your aspiration and ambition. On the other hand, it's your family, it's your wife, it's your husband, it's your children, it's your parents, and especially your mother, for which you will have to dedicate and you will have to, do everything that you can. And if you are actually trying to live a life where you are coming in harmony, in sync with both family and profession, Mars will help you in a big way. So it is only if you become over workaholic and you forget the family, that is when the resistance will come, and this Mars might prove to be a negative, not negative, but a very, a kind of a transit that will face a lot of resistance. During this transit of Mars, if you're facing a lot of resistance, understand that something is wrong in your own action and you will have to become more and more humble. And the best way to handle this is by chanting Hanuman Chalisa. Now, I'm going to give you a bigger number because you are a Leo ascendant or moon sign, right? So chant Hanuman Chalisa 11 or 21 times every day, or at least 7 times every day and 11 times on Tuesdays and Saturdays. Visit a Hanuman temple and Shani temple on Tuesdays and Saturdays, and if possible, do a fast on every Tuesday if your health permits. Mars will aspect 4th, 7th and 8th house. Definitely it is going to give you physical health. It will give you chance to execute tasks with brute strength, and it will kill all the uncertainties by bringing matter under your control. But it should not boost your ego. It should not give you a kind of assumption that you are in power. It is a power, temporary power, so that you can handle events of your life in a positive manner. The moment you think or assume that this is an eternal power, then and there Saturn's restriction will begin. And remember, Saturn is aspecting both Martian zodiac. And when Mars comes right in front of Saturn, it is Saturn who will win the battle. So, utilize this Mars for extracting positive energy by praying to Bhagwan Hanuman. You can also do a Devi Puja by chanting Devi Suktam. All this will give you that enhanced capacity to think. It is the best time to strategize, plan and execute your ambition and aspiration, but you must respect your limits. That is what is in store for Leo. Sagittarius. For Sagittarius, Mars is a very unique planet. First of all, it is your 5th lord. Second, it is your 12th lord. So on one side it rules education, on the other side it rules the area of life that represents exiting, that represents donation, losses, isolation. And when Mars goes in the 9th house, it means that it wants you to be in isolation for half an hour a day, work on yourself, Focus on what you can lose in life and do something about it. So it's more about fixing everything and drawing inspiration from the divine, because Mars is 5th from 5th. It is a Bhavad Bhavam position for Sagittarius, and whenever a planet goes in Bhavad Bhavam, it is exceptionally good. Mars in Leo for Sagittarius is a really powerful position, but you have to understand that this Mars will destroy the 4th house. How? Mars 8th aspect will fall on the 4th house. That means this Mars do not want you to be in your comfort zone. If you remain in your comfort zone, doesn't matter who you are, if you remain in your comfort zone, Mars will create situation where you will have to trust God, you will have to take a leap of faith, you will have to focus on isolation, and maybe you will have to focus on improvising your life and implementing what you have learned. This is a Leo Mars, a Mars which is in the kingdom with the king, and he has to plan and strategize. This is not the time when Mars will rest. Now, when I say 4th house will be destroyed, don't worry. When 8th aspect of Mars falls on the 4th house, it is actually destroying the Papakartari that is happening in the zodiac of Pisces. Saturn is retrograde in Aquarius, Rahu is in the 5th house along with Jupiter. Mars aspecting the 4th house actually is good for you. It will take away any burden of real estate, any property that is stuck for long, and it will give you opportunities to work for it. So this is a destruction, not an Asuri destruction. It is a destruction that precedes construction. In order to build something, you may have to dismantle what you have, and that is exactly what will happen. That is why comfort zone is the bad place for you. You will see that your friends will support you, but there may also be some issues with friends that you already have or business partners, so be very polite. The more humble you are, the better it is. Mars aspecting the 3rd house might also make you a motivational speaker, not in the professional sense, but maybe on a day-to-day life, your speech, your work, your ability to act will be more effective, but it can also create intimidating effects. So be very polite. Mars 4th aspect on the 12th house safeguards your interests and protect you from unexpected losses. That is why I am saying that it is the time to learn, implement, and learn again. Also, unlearning and relearning is the theme of this transit. Observe that when Mars is going in the sign of Leo, on the same day, Sun and Mercury are in line of sight conjunction. It's a fusion of Sun and Mercury, Buddhaditya Yoga, that too in your 7th house. And when Mars progresses, Venus becomes retrograde on 23rd of July. When Mars enters Purva Falguni Nakshatra, all of this is drawing the focus on one point, that luxury is not the way ahead. The way ahead is to pull up your socks and do what you are supposed to do. Fulfill your prarabdha and don't think about yourself. Think about the higher purpose, because Sagittarians can actually build a lot of things when Mars is in the 9th house. It is a extremely positive transit for you. Now all of you must be thinking that there are children, there are elderly people, there are homemakers who really don't have anything to do with Mars, right? But then comes your responsibility towards your family. For children, it is about education. For elderly, it is about knowing the knowledge, knowing the jnana, reading the Bhagavad Gita, so that the concept of one birth converts into concept of multiple births. We are all Atman. It is not about whether you are old or whether you are young. It is about what you can get, what technology you can get, what learning you can get from this Mars. This Mars will also help engineering students. This Mars will also help people who are more focused on technical side of life, who are into strategy, planning, economics, and who are into, who are more into executive leadership. So if you pray to Bhagwan Hanuman, it will give you that humbleness, and Mars in the 9th house will help you get the power of the divine. Aquarius Ascendant. If you are an Aquarius Ascendant, it means you are an air zodiac sign, and Mars will move in your 7th house, whereas a retrograde Saturn is on your Ascendant. So there is a Mars and Saturn opposition. Just like Leo Ascendant, it is also for Aquarius Ascendant, just that Mars will be in the 7th house. Now, this is a position where it can be difficult for relationships. So what should you do? This is the time to be more practical, more humble, and more inclusive. And whenever you are taking a life decision, always ensure that you are involving your life partner to whatever extent you can. Because if you don't take the other person into confidence, this will result into clashes, this will result into point of view differences, this will result into unnecessary arguments and ego clashes. Mars is actually a very important planet for you. Now, if you observe, Mars is your 3rd lord and also your 8th lord. Therefore, it controls your action, your karma. Imagine it controls both your hands and legs, kind of thing. So all your movement is under the control or domain of Mangal, and this Mangal, when it is in the 7th house, it's actually not bad. It's actually good for you. It shows that you will work towards your aspiration. It will work towards your wish fulfillment. It has the capacity to give you what you need. It has the capacity to bring in all the support, and it also has the capacity to work in sync with other energies. That means it has the potential to work in a team, just that it is not a team leader. It might disappoint you if you are into an executive position, if you are into a head of something, or if you want to become a head of something. But if you want to work with a team, and if you are not a boss but a leader, a kind of a person who takes everybody along, and if you are a team player, this Mars transit in 7th house will be exceptionally good for you. For people who want to be budding entrepreneurs, who want to take people along, who want to hire new people, who want to build or expand their business, it's a great time. Mars in 7th house will also aspect your 10th house. Therefore, you will see that help will come from all possible directions to help on your bring something positive on your career. If promotion is awaiting, that might happen. Something positive will go through your way. Just that you will always see that it's not just you, but along with you there are some other energies, there are some other people, association. So it will give you, but as a team. All individual contributors might find it difficult. So if you are an individual contributor in your company, if you are a self-employed person working lonely, try to see if you can be more social, be more in the public, and if you can work with as many people and delegate your responsibility so that you free up your plate. Influencers, people who are in public, people who are into strategy, planning, economics, will see great boost during this time. Just that you will see that the way you function and the way the circumstance will function will create friction. Imagine there are two plates, one rotating at 100 RPM and the other rotating at 1000 RPM. And the 100 RPM is rotating in one direction, but the 1000 RPM is rotating in the opposite direction. If they fuse, what will happen? The 1000 RPM will try to bring the 100 RPM plate into resonance. And the 100 RPM's inertia will try to slow down the 1000 RPM. So it's a war between speed and inertia of rest and inertia of motion. Sometimes inertia of motion will supersede, sometimes inertia of rest will supersede, and therefore will create friction, heat, light, sound. And this is what life will be. And nothing negative here, but just that you have to ensure that there should not be clash between these two plates. If you want them to work together, you have to build a mechanism where they both can work independently yet produce some positive results, something in between. Mars 8th aspect on your 2nd house can be detrimental to your family. It can bring in negative results, especially it might make you invest in places where you should not have invested, with an assumption that it will give you good returns. 8th house Mars will only affect you if the circumstances are already negative. So what should you do? You should pray to Bhagwan Mahalakshmi, you should pray to Bhagwan Hanuman constantly, and try to balance and come in sync with the circumstance. If you are facing family issue, if you're facing issues in the finances, if you're seeing that your money gets getting depleted, if you see that savings are not happening, then understand that 100 RPM and 1000 RPM plate have touched each other. Create a separation, create a physical boundary, know your limitations, and then work. Sometimes you will have to listen to the other people and work according to them, in spite of it not being the way you would have worked. So imagine a student does not like to study mathematics, but because it is an examination, he has to, if he wants to secure a good career, if he wants to go and promote to the next class. Similarly, there are few things that you will have to do which you won't like. So don't try to drag and make the circumstance suit you. Try to make you suit the circumstance. Now, in this process, I'm not saying that dissolve yourself or forget your own identity, but a certain level of karma has to be done here. Take care of your dental health, take care of your digestive health, and don't speak anything that can hurt someone, because your words, your harsh truth can hurt someone. They might not be in a position to accept the truth. So you'll have to sugarcoat things a bit. It's not a negative transit. It's a transit where a lot of things will become clear, but it depends upon your own efforts and your own karma. It's a highly karmic transit, and again I will repeat, if you are inclusive and if you're playing like a team, you will be the one who is the winner. Gemini. Now, if you see for Gemini Ascendant and Gemini Moon sign, Mars will be moving out of your second house, out of the debilitation in the third house. Third house is called the house of efforts, communication, and your willpower. When Mars goes here, it gains its strength. It finds itself in a very comfortable position. Mars is the Karaka of the third house. So definitely this will give you a lot of strength, courage, willpower, enthusiasm, spirit to work. It will motivate you and will push you into the right path. It is a very, very good transit for Gemini people, because Mars rules your 6th and 11th house and it goes in the third house. 6th and 11th house is basically the Upachya house, the house that is responsible for day-to-day earning. And when this this Lord goes into the third house, which is also an Upachya house, it will definitely give you great success in your career. It will also deconstruct a lot of already built castles and will give you new opportunities. It will give you new dimensions to work and explore. So be ready for new responsibilities in your job, new developments in your business, and new kind of responsibilities, not only from the professional but also from the personal front. This Mars will aspect your 6th house, and 6th house being Scorpio zodiac sign, Mars will be very careful not to create any damage through enemies, disease, and therefore Mars will try to defend you. It means it will give you enough courage to fight back your enemy, win competition, win court cases, be in a position where you will be able to execute the task the way you want. But where is the loss here? There has to be some payoff, right? You cannot just get things for free. The payoff is that Mars will have a 8th aspect on the 10th house. Now, you may lose your reputation if you go too aggressive. You may, you may be put into a position of isolation, like a transfer might happen, change of a team. But now you are in this team, firefighting issues and having less time for yourself. So be very watchful of what motivation is, what is motivating you to move into a certain direction. Everything is fine, but then Mars being Mars, any energy can be in excess. Remember, Karako Bhavanasham, Mars in the third house can sometimes create a situation where a person goes for self-destruction, self-sabotage. What you have to do for this? You should be scared? No, it is a very good transit. All you have to do is follow the path of Dharma. Mars will aspect the 9th house. Positive energies can come through travel, business related trip, travel, moving into a different city, all that is possible. But when you are taking a decision, ensure that your decision making has a lot of solid ground behind it. You're not just taking things into random and you're just hoping it to work. But you know what you're doing. Mars is a fighter but is also a master strategist, and it will plan every move. So the more planning you do, the better it will be for you during this time, because this is a transit of power, courage, influence, and it has a capacity to give you a lot more than you can actually think of, especially if you are into physical work, athlete, if you're an athlete, if you're into gymming, yoga, karate, healing, wellness. Also, if you're an artist, if you're into crafts, if you are using machine, if you're a designer, if you're into engineer, that is creating designs, Mars will really help you in all that. Mars will also help you cut down on your debts during this time. Visit a Hanuman temple every Tuesday if possible for you, or any temple every Tuesday and Saturday, because when you go to the temple, you actually trigger the 9th house, because you're going to the place of God. If that is not possible, you have a temple in your home, a small temple, a place of worship, go there, sit there for 10-15 minutes and chant Angarak Stotra. That will help you a lot. Libra. Libra as an ascendant will see tremendous boost in income, wish fulfillment, gain of resources, security coming your way, help coming your way. Network circle will help you. If you want to float your resume and want a proper response, this is the time. But Mars is your 7th and 2nd lord, which in turn is also called as mild Markesh. Why will this Mars give you? And what is this Mars giving you? How it is giving you is of great importance. Mars being in the 11th house is actually good for you, because it allows you to communicate with a lot of people. But then you also have to understand that Mars as a warrior also wants to showcase his true skill. Put it in a crowd and Mars will become frustrated. That is what might happen, that you might be feeling that you are in a crowd and there is a lack of identity, or you are kind of lonely even when you are in between a lot of people around you. Somehow you will try to find a true identity of yourself and try to put you in the spotlight. Everything is fine, but this should not be the cause of depression. This should not be the only way of life ahead. You should be a team player. You should be with a lot of people. You should interact, build your energy circuit, be in an energy group, go to a meditation center, connect with the energies of different people. Engage with different type of people. Don't restrict yourself to one area of life. Try to meet and be with a lot of different set of people, know about people, read a lot of books. What it will do is it will allow you to be inside the mind of a writer. And Mars, because it aspects your 5th house, learning will be a great tool to actually equip you financially. 7th house and 2nd house is related with personal life, business, marriage, home. When it goes in the 11th house, it creates a lot of harmony and peace. But Mars 8th aspect will fall on the 6th house. So it definitely will help you win over your enemies and create new family members, bring more brother-like friends. But then if you are on a one-way road that I want but I cannot give, then there will be a problem, because it's a tit for tat. Mars will give, Mars will take. So when you are trying to ask for a favor, do return the favor in this way or that way. 11th house is always transactional, and Mars, when it goes into the 11th house, squeezes the 6th and the 12th house. The 12th house goes under Pap Kartari, and the 6th house has an 8th aspect of Mangal. And if you see this way, when the 6th and 12th axis gets blocked, it definitely means that for a brief period of time, you might enjoy a lot. But blocking the 6th and 12th house is not the way ahead, because they will release, and if they release after enough blocking, the amount of prarabdha will be much higher, and it's like you are not paying 3-4 EMIs, and once you start paying, it is a huge burden on you. So keep cancelling your debts, build connections and work for the greater purpose, work for the greater good. For business, great time. For money, great time. For investment, great time. But then you must not be a lone player. You must take suggestions. You must meet different kind of people and try to be in sync with the nature. Otherwise, this Mars transit is already the 11th house Mars, which is really, really good. This will give you, wish fulfillment. It's like a boon, blessing. Your wishes will be fulfilled. But then, what are you wishing for? Your wishes should not be a cause of your own destruction. So wish carefully. Pisces. For Pisces, if you observe, with being a water element, Mars rules 2nd and 9th house. So it rules your destiny, it rules basically the divine pillar and the family and wealth. So Mars is quite an important planet for you, in spite of you being a water zodiac sign and Mars being a fiery planet. And when Mars goes out of your 5th house from the zodiac sign of Cancer and goes into the 6th house, it actually gives you an opportunity to win over your enemies, win over your bad habits, focus on the problems of your life and deal it with iron fist. Second Lord going in 6th house also shows that some of your investment, some of your resources will be spent countering the negative side of the life, countering the negativity, neutralizing certain debts and focusing on your prarabdha karma. Now you see that you cannot escape prarabdha during this time because Mars in 6th house is also the 9th Lord. So dharma comes in karma, and it also, Mars aspects the 12th and 9th Lord. Therefore, a little donation, a little bit of sacrifice will be great here. Showing the sportsman spirit in life is also going to be healthy during Mars transit in the 6th house. Also, 6th house is something that is associated with disease, obstacles. When Mars goes there, it creates an opportunity to win over obstacles, to go disease free. But one thing you will have to be very watchful and careful: unnecessary war, unnecessary fight, burnouts in the career will hurt your health. It's all about duty, responsibility and your limits. We should not forget that Mars actually aspects your Lagna through 8th aspect. And this Mars can also bring in competition. It can create enemies so that you are forced to fight, and that will hurt you personally, especially your finances. So Mars in 6th house kind of give mixed results depending upon how you behave. Now we can see that Jupiter is in the 2nd house, Rahu is in the 2nd house, and it aspects Mars. So it has the it gives the opportunity to correct your mistakes, but any application of you can say greed, if you try to take shortcuts in life, if you try to wage unnecessary war, will only be met with stiff resistance from Saturn. Remember, Saturn is retrograde in the 12th house. So better to be respectful, be humble, do a lot of seva, and just focus on small things in life, correct your mistakes and fix the loopholes. And especially if you are involved into matters of real estate, engineering, if you have industries, if you have plants, you must focus on your employees, you must focus on everybody who works for you and try to see how much benefit you can give them. There can be sudden expenses on electricity, on machines, on equipments, gadgets during this time. This can also be needed to expand your business. Do it in moderation because Mars here wants you to focus on solving the problem, but while solving the problem, don't create a parallel problem. So lot of logical reasoning will be needed during this time. Emotional play will not be good during this time. Also, with respect to relationship, it's a good time. Mars will try to help you do that sacrifice, focus on your prarabdha and duties. So this, if you do, relationships will improve overall. Scorpio. Now for Scorpio, this is a very good transit because Mars will move in your 10th house. It will come out of debilitation from your 9th and come to 10th. 10th is the favorite place for Mangal. You know that Mars gets exalted in Capricorn, which is the natural 10th house. Mars also rules your 6th house, And when 6th Lord goes in the 10th, when 1st Lord goes in the 10th, it shows that you are getting success, not only in job, not only in your career, but you are being praised for your abilities, for your skills, for your solutions that you will provide on the table. Mars in the 10th house can result into a lot of profits from the business, especially if your business is in partnership, and if your spouse is involved in that business, Mars will give you considerable growth. This is the time for acceleration. This is the time for profits. This is the time where you will be personally coming in and solving the problem. So if you are somebody who is always delegating, then there can be a problem in your case. So stop delegating. Delegating the task is okay. After all, Mars is a master strategist and planner. But now you will also have to put your head. So if the team is stuck, be a team player. Deal with the problem personally, and then you will see that you will be praised, and the problem will be solved. And people who want to get a new contract, new government contract, tenders, if you want to establish a factory, if you want to work on a manufacturing plant, if you're thinking to start a new company, all that is possible during this time. Mars in the 10th house will give brilliant opportunities to showcase your competitive strength, and will put you into healthy competition and will put you to the path of success. If you observe, Mars will aspect your ascendant, therefore this will give you a lot of protection also, and you will see friends and family members supporting you during this time, contacts helping you. So it's quite a brilliant time here. And even if you do not have a job and if you are trying for it, this gives you that opportunity. Mars also aspects the 4th house with the 7th aspect. Therefore, Mars will make you very much comfortable in your own area. So it's not that you are in a comfort zone, but it's like office gives you that homely feeling. You know, where you are working, where you are showcasing your strength, you are spending that energy. There you are comfortable. Especially athletes, people who work in gym, people who work in yoga or any other physical fitness industry will see great boost during this time. The only concern is that Mars have an 8th aspect on the 5th house. Now when Mars have 8th aspect on 5th house, your hard work might bring you separate or bring you away from your own children. It might destroy your own productivity. So when you are gaining that success, don't assume that it is permanent. Keep moving in that pace. Don't drop your pace. Fast and steady wins the race should be your mantra. Mars aspecting the 5th house can also create problems related to stomach, digestion and expression, right? Because of pride, because of ego, because of flattery. Be grounded. The more grounded you are, the better your life will be. And if you find yourself in a situation where you are being praised and you feel that this is an unnecessary praise, your heart tells you something is wrong, try to figure out. But for Scorpio, this is a well-deserved transit of Mars, Jupiter, and Jupiter will be in the 6th house in Bharani Nakshatra, aspecting Mars, therefore expanding the horizons, expanding the role and responsibilities. So it's a brilliant time for Scorpio natives. Cancer ascendant. Now in case of Karka Rashi, Mars was on your 1st house, it was debilitated, it was Venus in the 1st house also, so it was quite a mess. Let Mars go into the 2nd house and you see the brilliant side of Mars. See, Mangal rules your 10th house and Mangal rules your 5th house. So when 10th Lord goes into the 2nd house and 5th Lord goes into the 2nd house, it creates a time, it creates a phenomena where you will reap the benefits of your karma. Mars will stabilize you financially, it will give you new opportunities, it will set the ball rolling, and you will see that your productivity will increase multiple times. You will see positive energy because of your children, success of your children, your own success, your own productivity will give you lot of finance, especially if you are in business. And you will also see that Mars in the 2nd house will make everybody around the family energetic, will bring this passion in your mind, and the aura will be all positive. Now because Mars is also the 10th Lord, when 10th Lord goes in the 2nd house, it shows that your karma is connected with your family. So whoever is involved in family business, whoever is involved into family who is managing the family wealth will see something positive going their way, and you will also see that family will be supportive of your career. They will understand your fame, your success will reach to your family and will make your life more secured, more happy. So it is a transit of security, happiness and prosperity and wish fulfillment. And this is the time where you can think about proper investment. This is the time when, see, you might not have a lot of room to expand, but this will give enough energy to sail you through the problems. Mars also aspects the 9th house with the 8th aspect. So the only problem can be that because of your ego, because of your fight, or because of your own mindset, because of anger, you might ignore some suggestions, some valuable suggestions. Because you assume that you have strength and you can do it, you might ignore that solution, or that solution might not come across as the right one, and that can be a problem. So any suggestion that comes to you, you should be very, very careful about it. I'm not saying that implement it, but at least give an ear, listen to it. See if that is fruitful, analyze a bit, and then decide whether that is applicable or not applicable. Mars in the 2nd house also gives you strength, gives you money to take care of health. Your health will improve and you will work on matters that can affect your mouth, that can affect your throat, especially if you have thyroid issues, if you have dental issues. This Mars will help you in the long run. Just ensure that you are giving food to the needy. You are eating more sattvic food. Mars is also calories, the energy in the food. So eat light food, eat good food. This is the time where you can cut down your calories and focus on the weight loss if that is a problem in your case. It is a brilliant transit. It's a great transit, and just one thing you will have to focus, that Sun will come in your 1st house from 17th of July, and that can make you very much emotional. That emotional vulnerability can convert into harsh speech, and that harsh speech can take you away from your own father, from your own guru, from your own mentor. So when you are speaking, when you are trying to execute something, be mindful of what is the consequences. But otherwise, Mars transit in the 2nd house is really good transit for you. Virgo. Now in case of Virgo, if you will see that Mars rules your 8th house, Mars rules your 3rd house. And if you see the position of 3rd house, it is 8th from 8th. And therefore, when this Mars goes in the 12th house, I can understand that it is out of debilitation. But there are a couple of other factors that is making this Mars transit in Leo a mixed transit. More towards positive, but slight caution is necessary. First of all, when Mars goes in the 12th house, it is a Mars which is not local, but it is a Mars which, it's like an energy that is spending more. So you are spending more energy but getting less output. So the efficiency reduces. In physics we say efficiency less than 1. So the output is less than the input. So efficiency goes down. So remember that. On the other hand, when Mars goes to Leo zodiac sign, it creates a papkartari on Virgo, because Mars in Dushtana Bhav, although a negative planet in the negative house seems to produce good results, but when Mars goes in 12th house, Ketu is in 2nd house, it kind of hems the Virgo and creates papkartari, and this can be slightly difficult financially, especially on the basis of expenses. Mars will have a 8th aspect on the 7th house. So you will have to be watchful of what you do in business dealings, what kind of products you are launching during this time, what are the services you are offering. You will have to be very conservative and restrictive in your approach. Your entire 1 and 7 axis will be under papkartari, because 1st house is hemmed between Mars and Ketu, whereas 7th house is hemmed between Rahu and Shani. Now, 8th Lord coming into 12th house is also a Vipareet Rajyog, which definitely tells that if there are adverse situations coming your way, there are solutions and some exceptional profits But when Mars goes in 12th, it also talks about spending your energy, detoxifying, decluttering, and going minimalistic, as well as focusing on donations. When 8th Lord goes in the 12th house, this is where surprises or the uncertainties of life will not let you sleep. It will be on your mind, and you will be very active subconsciously. So constantly feed your mind, feed your subconscious mind with positive vibration, positive waves. So do a lot of meditation. You can listen to Madhurashtakam, chant Hanuman Chalisa, focus on meditative waves, that Tibetan bowls and gongs and such kind of meditation, flute meditation. Try not to see any negative horror, thriller kind of movies or any such kind of music which might, create more restlessness in your body and mind. Virgo moon sign will experience a very active mind, and this might also help you to create strategy and planning. In your subconscious, it will create fears, and that fear will drive your decisions. And sometimes fear can save you, but on the most of the cases, fear will only restrict you. So be watchful of those restrictions. Mars will aspect your 3rd house, 6th house and 7th house. There can be travel, international travel related to business. There can be short trips, frequent to and fro communication, to and fro journey, tiring you on the way. This has to be, focused in a way that you are constantly rejuvenating, replenishing the energy, and not facing a burnout in your especially in your career, and if you're an athlete, if you're doing a workout, if you are into gymming, yoga, be watchful of any wear and tear of muscles. When Mars have 8th aspect on the 7th house, this can adversely affect marriage. So watch all those signs, those aggressive signs, those negative red flags, and try to be very humble and manage it through politeness, manage it through humbleness. There can be some interference of family members between couples. Try to manage it in a way that it should not create a rift between the family. The more grounded you are, the better your life will be. After all, Mars in 12th house shows that there are some energy which is in excess, and that energy must be drained. So do something, do some positive karma, utilize your energy for good causes, and that will help you in the long run. Financially, because it is going to increase expenses, you will have to be watchful of your investments. You will have to be watchful if you want to expand. Mars is an expansionist planet. It's a planet who wants to fight, who wants to work, who wants to use its energy. It's pure, sheer fire, and fire will simply expand its horizon whenever it will find any inflammable substance. So Mars will try to influence you in a way that your mind is completely occupied by these thoughts of comparison, thoughts of jealousy, emotions, and thoughts of victory. You will think about your losses and constant evaluation. That is also wrong. Take the life case by case basis. Events of life should be dealt case by case basis. If you are getting some happiness today, enjoy your life. Because see, Mars is not your enemy. It is a Vipreet Rajyog, so it's not your enemy. But it is showing that because 12th house is of isolation, you must spend half an hour every day doing the mantras and in isolation to focus and plan your day, and then you proceed. At least you will be in a much better state to protect yourself. Don't consider this as a negative transit. Consider this as a transit that is building your future. After all, Mars will come on your ascendant and will make you more powerful from 18th August. Capricorn. For Capricorn, Mars is a Yogakarika planet. It rules your 4th house and it rules your 11th house. But this Mars, yes, it goes out of debilitation from the 7th, but it goes into the 8th house. Now, 8th house Mars is very different than any other Mars, because 8th house is the house of death. It is the house of, now not really the death as in death, but it is a house of ending and new beginnings. You can call it as a transformation. And when Mars goes in that house, the entire energy gets focused into transformation, changes. So that is how you will see. You will be focused more towards finding a new comfort zone, altering things in your own home, maybe changing the look, maybe changing the layout. You will have this impulsive feeling to change something in life. Whether you will do or not depends on your horoscope, but this feeling will definitely overpower you. And matters related to taxation, insurance, inheritances, the investor will have a certain kind of behavior towards you. All that might puzzle you. You might see things becoming a bit uncertain, especially your network circle. The way you communicate with people, their approach towards you will not be constant, and you should not rely on that also. So how should you deal with this transit? See, this is a transit of a lot of dynamic energy, right? And this is a transit where you will have to focus not only on your benefits and your happiness, but the happiness of everybody around you, especially your spouse, your business partners, people whom you deal with. You will have to think about them. So here in this transit, you have to keep yourself and your profits aside and do a lot of paropkar. Your activity, your dharma, your karma should be such that you are inclusive and you're helping others. Mars also aspects your 2nd house and 11th house. Remember, this is a Mars which will call for major investments. This is a Mars which might bring investors for your business. But then you will have to be watchful. You should not be over enthusiastic and take the leap of faith here. In fact, you should be very calculative, because 8th house Mars can create a lot of enthusiasm and hope and might overreact, and you might overdo, you might try to overachieve. Basically, you might try to bite more than you can chew, and then it will choke you. So better not to react in a way that will in future give you trouble. Although Mars is in a friendly zodiac sign, and Mars being in the 8th house is not that negative, but your health can pose a challenge here. This is also a case where you will have to protect yourself from small accidents. This is also a case where you will have to see your health if you have any blood related issue like blood problems, thyroid issues, or if you're having any heart related issue. You just have to be watchful of those things. But there are uncertain events, so you cannot plan for what Mars will offer. What you can do is get up every day, strategize your life, plan your day, and then leave for the work, or at least start your day with Hanuman Chalisa, and ensure that whatever will come, you will not think about it. Let the event happen, and then you will see what you can do with it. Don't panic during this time, because Mars in 8th can create a lot of panic in the mind, fear in the mind. Imagine you don't know where is your enemy, and there are arrows being fired, there are shots being fired, and you don't know what to do. What is the best way? The best way is to first defend yourself. So this is a very defensive transit. The more defensive you are, the better it will be. That is why this is a great time to create a defensive shield, create protection in your life. That is why buying insurance plans, buying protection cover, and working in a way that you are shielding your family, you're shielding your own home, renovating any gaps in the house, and your mindset should be like, okay, it's not a mindset of fear, but it's a mindset of precaution. And that is why for Mars in 8th house, I will say precaution is better than cure for all Capricorn natives. But if you focus more on the occult side of life, 8th house, if you focus more on the divine chanting, you will see that your energy will route through the 8th house, the occult side, the tantra side, the adhyatm, spiritual side, and it will give you a lot of happiness. After all, your 4th house, your Sukh Bhav, your happiness is in the 8th house right now. A retrograde Saturn will be in the 2nd house, which is obviously your ascendant lord, and will be aspected by this Mars from the 8th. So take care of the food that you eat, and if there is any muscle or bone related issue, then just get it checked. Don't ignore your health. Health is going to be the priority this time. Taurus. Now, in case of Taurus, if you observe, Mars rules your 7th house and 12th house. Now, when Mars is ruling 7th and 12th, definitely it controls your business expansion, business expenses, as well as your marriage and what problems marriage can face. And such Mars, when it goes into the 4th house, might make you slightly uncomfortable, fight for all these issues. There might be imbalance in relationship between your spouse and your mother-in-law, and you might be worried about their health and their mutual understanding. 10th house retrograde Saturn will keep drawing your focus towards your career, whereas Mars in the 4th house would want energy to be focused more at home. So this push and pull scenario can just create an imbalance in the work and life, and this work-life balance will, once it goes out of the window, it will start affecting your health. You should not forget that Mars actually rules 12th house. For people who want to buy home or properties, it's a good time. It's a good time to buy commercial properties. If you want to open an office, if you want to open a branch outside your local existence, maybe international, that might happen during this time. So from business perspective, it's a very good transit, but we must also understand that 4th house, which is called Sukha Bhava, has nothing to do with Mars. In fact, Mars becomes debilitated in Cancer, which is the natural 4th house. So definitely Mars, which is fiery planet, Mars which is about valor, strength, bravery, willpower, in fact lack of emotion, goes into the house of motherhood, patience, caring, and therefore this Mars kind of becomes uncomfortable there. Mars is unable to relate to the properties of the 4th house. Mars can manage. It's not that Ketu cannot manage in 4th house, but Mars can manage the properties of the 4th house. But you will see that you will have to tone down your masculine side. Does not matter whether you are a male or female, you will have to tone down your masculine side and be caring towards your family members. You cannot solve this matter by brute strength, by fighting, by ordering. Rather, you will have to sit, talk, and kind of be one with your family members. Bring the problem on the table and be that imagine two countries are fighting and there is a third country coming in between for diffusing the tension. That will be your role. Even in business, people who are involved in merger and acquisitions, who are involved in kind of who lays out the policy, who lays out the strategy, who kind of bridges the gap, they will experience a lot of growth during this time. Just that you will have to be watchful of stress. This can stress your body, stress your mind, and you must dissipate this stress by laughing, by enjoying. So listen to good music, do something that you like, and enjoy your life. But don't smoke, drink, or eat non-vegetarian food during this time, because Mars can draw tamasic energy from those elements and then create ruckus. Remember that Rahu is in your 12th house. That is why you have to be watchful. People who want to move abroad, who want to buy properties abroad, who want to study abroad will see good opportunities coming their way. But any opportunity for marriage, if it comes in your life, just be watchful of that and be defensive and protective towards yourself and your family members. Chanting Hanuman Chalisa, and in case you are experiencing a lot of negative energy, threat from or any kind of negative threat, chant Bajrang Baan and ask Hanuman, Shri Bhagwan Hanuman, to protect us. For Taurus, this will be a good transit, but you will have to deal it patiently.